guys, and welcome back to another review of Grease Rise of the Pink Ladies. This is for the second to last episode, episode 9, which I believe is entitled So You're Dropping Out of Rydell. Now, full disclosure, I already filmed this once. Camera didn't go off. The microphone did, and unfortunately I found out the hard way. If this little thing goes off in the middle of a video, yeah, apparently it's just silent with no sound. It's worse than just the regular onboard sound, so yeah, new paranoia unlocked. So I am now charging my other one, and this is the backup, which should be good to go, because I almost never use the backup one, so knock wood, wood, knock wood, that it doesn't go off in the middle of it this time, because I really don't want to do this a third time. But anyway, so I'll try to remember everything that I said, but it was already all over the place before, since it's almost midnight, and yeah, it be like that. Now it's just that much later than it was filming it the first time, so cool. Anyway, so this episode picks up where the last one left off, which is where Buddy and Richie had that fight after the dance. Yeah, well, now they're feeling the ramifications of that fight. They're both being expelled, so that's fun. Except that both their families are dealing with it completely differently. Buddy's family, because the dad is in the election and everything, doesn't want this to hurt his image, so he's shuttling him off to like Connecticut or somewhere where he'll be out of sight, out of mind, stay there a couple years, give people time to forget that this ever happened, and then quietly bring him back and just carry on like that shit never happened. Richie, on the other hand, is being shipped off to like military school. So, you know, it's like that. Olivia is beyond distraught at this and basically blames Jane for all of it. Whether or not that's fair doesn't matter. She's blaming her. So that's a whole thing. And she's running off to Mr. Daniels just as she did on the night of the dance and everything. Is pouring her heart out to him about just everything under the sun. Um, Almost gets caught by a fellow student. Is like, oh yeah, this is like old times too. And he's like, I feel really bad that you have to sneak around like this. Wouldn't it be great if you didn't have to sneak around? Like if we were married? She's like, huh, yeah, if only. He's like, well, we could get married. And she points out that my parents would never go for that. And he asks how old were they when they got married. And she points out, well, only a year older than I am right now. So he's like, okay, I will talk to them, which he does. But it's just like, oh, the realization that she'll have to drop out of school if she gets married because you can't be a student and a wife at the same time. Yeah, seems kind of selfish on his part if you think about it, but at the same time, the heart wants what the heart wants, so if that's what she really wants, I suppose it's worth it, but I don't know. It just seems like one of those things where it's like, ooh, not the best look. Not the best look. But anyway, so that's a whole thing. With Buddy gone, the principal has now awarded, rightfully so, the position of student body president to Jane, which it should have been all along, but especially in light of the election having been rigged and having been found out, she was going to hand it to her anyway. But now it's official. Gives her gavel and everything. But, with the Pink Ladies having all but been dissolved, she's just like, I'm not even sure I really want this anymore. It's a whole huge mess. Cynthia, on the other hand, is presented with Richie's T-Birds jacket, and they feel like you should have had one of these a long time ago. Please accept this one, and please accept a position as one of the T-Birds. At which point, Shy Guy freaks the absolute hell out. It's like, yeah, if she's in, I'm out. And they decide that, yeah, well, you need to deal with him. And whatever went on between you two, you need to make it right and fix this. So she has that whole thing to deal with. And it turns out, without either of them outright explicitly saying it, I mean, it's open to interpretation here, but I'm like 99% positive they both came out to each other without admitting they came out to each other. Like, you can read that scene however you want, but that's the way I read it. Then again, could be bias here, but like, I'm pretty sure that's what happened there. But it ends up that they can be friends after it all and everything anyway. And after all said and done, she's like, it's funny. Now that everything's fine, I don't even really want to be a T Bird anymore. So all of that was for nothing. Cool. And Nancy is just freaking distraught that the Pink Ladies are donezo and decides that she needs to come up with a plan to get them back together. At the same time all this is going on, a storm is brewing. Like, not in the social sense, that too, but a literal storm outside is brewing that's so bad that the principal has to put the school on lockdown and keep the kids there until the storm passes so it's safe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't live in a state where that shit happens, so I'm just like, oh, is that like a thing that happens some places? That sounds awful. So that's the whole thing, and now she appoints Jane. Her first real task as or not as principal, as student body president. You get to be lead hall monitor during this and try to help keep the kids in their homerooms. Yeah, because that'll go well. Meanwhile, Nancy has come up with this really, really harebrained scheme of writing a note to each of the other three pink ladies, making it sound very dire and like she's about to do something to herself, and makes it out to be like, yeah, she's hiding in the bathroom and needs them. So they all go rushing to see what the hell's going on, and she has Potato hold the door shut. So they are literally stuck in there with her, and she thinks she'll just force them to talk everything out. Because, holding people hostage always works, right? Like, what the frick? I don't know on what planet that seemed like a good idea, but to her it seemed like a good idea, and that's the route she went with. Yeah, weird take, I know. So, it backfires in her face because she decides to go the brutal honesty route and thinks that if she just blasts them all with like a truth bomb, that will just get all the elephants in the room out in the open and things will be fine, right? Except everyone's feelings are hurt and now they're all just mad at her, and they still have no intentions of going back to being pink ladies, so there's that. So after all is said and done, there's like a whole song and dance number for Nancy that I don't know if it's a dream sequence. I don't know if she's just fantasizing this. I don't know what the hell it's supposed to be. Other than it's like this show's version of the beauty school dropout thing, except in this it's like the angel of fashion coming to her in the form of Ziggy Stardust. Even though that makes literally zero sense given this is supposed to be the 50s, not the 70s. I don't freaking know. As a Bowie fan, on one hand, I'm like, ah! On the other hand, I'm like, that doesn't make sense though. Why? Why was that the move? I am so lost right now. I don't understand. But anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So that was a whole thing that happened. Trying to think. Anything else really happened? Other than like the principal having a freaking nervous breakdown that literally no one is helping her. Um, yeah, eventually the storm blows over. People are allowed to leave. Um, Nancy and Mr. Daniels go home, and he goes and asks her parents for her hand in marriage, which they're thrilled about. Weirdly, I know it was a different time. It was a different time. I know. Um, so that was the whole thing. But Nancy basically comes groveling to Jane and to Cynthia and appeals to them and to and with humility and everything, and eventually gets them on board to at least try to give it one more shot. So they go to find Olivia. They walk in on the middle of this scene. She also points out what happened with Richie and then tells him, "Yeah, I think you should leave. Like, now." So that's its whole own thing. Now Jane is beside herself over the Richie news. Cynthia gives her Richie's jacket because she feels like, yeah, this should belong to you, not to me. Um, and is like, so what do we do now? I don't know. And the episode both started and ended with the same song, What a Difference a Day Makes, which, goddamn, yeah. Really, though. Really. Um, this is definitely one of the more jam packed and better episodes, I have to admit. Not quite as good as the last one, but it's right up there. So I am eager to see how they tie up all the loose ends in the final episode, since, I mean, they've got a lot of things to tie up, and I don't know if they will or not, because I don't know if they were only intending on ever making 10 episodes and it wasn't so much that the show got canceled, it's just that was the whole story, that was all it was ever going to be, or if it's going to be left on a cliffhanger that will just never be answered. That would really suck if that happens, but I am still eager to see what the last episode will hold for us. And once I watch that, then I can finally try to give some kind of a number rating or something to this whole series overall. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on the second to last episode. So as usual, you know what to do. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe. Hit that notification bell icon so you never miss an upload. Leave comments down below. Make sure you're following my social media accounts, my Facebook fan page, my Twitter, my Instagram, my eBay, my Reddits, everything and more. It's all down below. And if you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link, as always, is down in the description. Anyway, guys, until next time, see ya.